Today's Football Fix, we are looking at a lot of Manchester United news, but also some comments from the UEFA president Alexander Ceferin to start things off. It's talking about the fact that if they reduce the number of matches, then the salaries of football players would also fall. The clubs have less income and it's a vicious cycle. He says the compromise is that no new competitions would be introduced. The rhythm of matches for football players is already at the upper limit, and the new Club World Cup will take up more and more time. The Union of Professional Footballers has already filed a lawsuit against FIFA, and the problem is that European clubs want the competition as it would increase revenue and make it easier to pay footballers. So as I said, it's a vicious cycle. It'll be necessary to sit down with the Professional Footballers Union and find out what they want. If we reduce the number of matches, wages will have to be reduced as well. There is no other way. And this comes amidst the conversation of the amount of international games that are happening nowadays, especially with the UEFA Nations League that England won in tonight, and the new Club World Cup format, which sees more and more games added, in addition to all of these other tournaments, more games in European competitions. There is a lot, and so he thinks wages will have to be sacrificed if the number of games reduces. Andres Iniesta, after retiring, has become the co-owner of Danish club Helsingør. They're a second-tier club, and he's invested through his company, which is never say never, along with the Spanish-Swiss firm Stoneweg. So maybe not what people expected if Iniesta was going to do stuff post-playing career, maybe management, or maybe investing in something Spanish, maybe going back towards Barcelona in an ambassadorial role, but no, a co-owner of a Danish club. Another heartwarming story as Claudio Ranieri comes out of retirement and is the new head coach of Roma until the end of the season. The third time that he has represented Roma, and after he will transition into a senior executive role where he will advise ownership on all sporting matters at the club, including who will replace him as head coach of the club. A really, really nice thing for him to do, to come out of retirement to help the club that he loves so much. David Alaba is finally set to return from his long-term injury over 300 days after doing a cruciate ligament tear. He is back on the grass with a ball at his feet and should be back for Real Madrid in a few weeks' time following the horrific second ACL injury of Eder Militao recently. And maybe his return is the reason why Real Madrid and Florentino Perez have decided to not take up Sergio Ramos with the option to sign him, as he is still a free agent after leaving Sevilla at the end of the previous season. But someone that could return is Ben White, who says he is ready to play for England again when Thomas Tuchel officially takes charge. Previously saying that he wasn't interested and didn't want to play for England, clearly, with the fallout that happened under Gareth Southgate's tenure, there was something personal that was affecting him there, and now he would like another go at the England position, where he could actually fit into a Thomas Tuchel system really, really well, especially if England end up playing a 5 at the back. He could either play as a right back or a right-sided centre-back, and he is a very good player, so for England's sake, this is very, very good news. Real Madrid have almost completed agreements to sign Alphonso Davies. The transfer is supposedly incredibly close. The player has always been open to it, and Real Madrid are looking for that elite tier left back that can finally replace Marcelo. Ferland Mendy has done okay in his time there, but due to injuries and inconsistent performances, they want someone that can be at the very top level for a long time, and Alphonso Davies is their chosen target. And today, Ruben Amorim visits Old Trafford for the first time and had a full tour as Manchester United manager, getting used to his new surroundings after having his tour of Carrington previously and meeting some of his first team squad, mainly the injured players. More Real Madrid transfer news. Florian Wirtz is currently valued at €130 million after his incredible performances so far at Bayer Leverkusen under Xabi Alonso, and Real Madrid are the club that are set to potentially sign him in the summer. A lot of people think that this would be completely unnecessary because they just don't need that kind of player, but Real Madrid do what Real Madrid want, and they want Florian Wirtz. Back to Manchester United as we see the news that Ruben Amorim is set to hand Marcus Rashford a chance to impress as a striker. He plays a 3-4-3 system and has had a lot of success with it at Sporting. And so he looks like he is going to be bringing this system over the pond with him to Manchester United. And Rashford, instead of playing off of the left-hand side, is set to play through the middle. What does this mean for the likes of Rasmus Højlund or Joshua Zirkzee? Well, there is potentially a plan for Zirkzee, as Manchester United are apparently willing to offer a fee plus Zirkzee to Sporting to bring Victor Gyokeres from Sporting along with Amorim to the Theatre of Dreams. Zirkzee, not really worked out so far for him, was brought in under Erik ten Hag and has had moments where he is impressed, but hasn't really strung together a few performances in a row where he has looked worthy of his price tag. And so United potentially set to offload him and have Victor Gyokeres, Rasmus Højlund and Marcus Rashford as their striker options in this 3-4-3 system. And another player that Man United would probably like to offload, but he doesn't want to go anywhere, is Antony. His agent, Junior Pedroso, has said that the player has zero intention of leaving the club, leaving Manchester United in a bit of a transfer hole because he cost them so much money. They would be desperate to recoup some of that, even if it was maybe a quarter of his transfer fee. But if he doesn't want to leave, they're kind of stuck. A highly rated Manchester United player, on the other hand, is Harry Amass, and Aston Villa are keeping tabs on him and said to be long-term admirers of the young teenage fullback, who it looked like this season, due to the injuries to Luke Shaw and continued injuries of Malacia, was set to get some game time, but under Ten Hag, that was not the case. Will it change under Amorim? Potentially, but Aston Villa are on the lookout for that left-back. Goal have come out and said their top 10 best goalkeepers of the 21st century. Some people are not happy with this. Let me know in the comments, what do you think? Their list is as follows: Buffon, followed by Neuer, then Casillas, Petr Cech, Courtois, Alisson in 6th, Oliver Kahn, Van der Sar, Jan Oblak, and Emi Martinez in the top 10 best keepers. Interesting. And the final story of today's Footy Fix is that Xabi Alonso will reportedly leave Bayer Leverkusen this summer, with Real Madrid being his priority move. That is not surprising to anybody. We know that Ancelotti is going to be leaving the club in the summer. Obviously, Xabi Alonso has history with Liverpool, with Bayern, and with Real Madrid, but it makes the most sense now that Arne Slot seems settled in at Liverpool, that unless he was maybe going to go Manchester City if Pep Guardiola decides to leave, Real Madrid seems like the most likely option, and that could be an incredible signing for the club. Maybe he would bring Florian Wirtz over with him. I feel like that is probably the only way that that transfer happens. But let me know your thoughts on that one. We'll see you tomorrow.